Good morning, guys. A great morning to all of those who tuned into the realest thing coming out of Guyana. As you guys know, Monday morning is a serious and important morning for us all. I take it seriously. I would hope that you take it seriously. So, the fact remains, it's a morning important to us all because that is the start of your work week. This is the society we live in, whether you want to think it's a matrix, whether what you want to think of the world we're thinking. This is how the process works. And Monday morning is the most important morning in life. Now, that's a matter of fact. How do you take that? Do you take that seriously? Because people expect that. People are accustomed to that. People are accustomed to Monday morning meetings. What are we going to do for the week? How are we going to do it? When we're going to do it? Where the finance is going to come from? And this and that. Getting their act together. Right? Like you look forward to the weekend and Friday coming along, people look forward to Monday morning. Well, most people try to shy away from Monday morning. But if you can master the Monday morning, if you can master Monday morning, you basically would have mastered halfway the process to life itself, and a better life in itself, a successful life. Now, I put up a phrase there, a quote. I didn't check who said it, but it has a lot of meaning in the real world. A fool and his money shall soon be parted. Fools don't have money. Fools can attain money. Fools can acquire money. But fools don't keep money. And I'm saying to you, don't be that fool. Now, in life, you have to be aware of your environment and be aware of the fights you pick. Because a fool is a fool. Nothing doesn't change with a fool. No matter how much money a fool has, it's a fool. It's simple, it's not complicated. People can be misguided. People become confused, but nonetheless, a fool by itself, a wealthy fool, a fool with money, anyhow you want to put it, is a fool. If you go back in history and you look at stories, look at the Pablo Escobar story. Do you know about the great drugs lord Pablo Escobar from Colombia, which was one of the wealthiest men in the world at that time? It is said that one time when hiding out, he had to use his money as firewood. Because they didn't have firewood, but they had lots of money. Until today, people go on treasure hunts in Colombia looking for Pablo Escobar's wealth because he had that much US money. And what he did is he helped people, lots of people. He built ball fields. He did so many things. And in the end, he lost because he was a fool. And all the people he helped, all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Pablo Escobar back together again. Be wary of the fool you are. Now, this is talking about the heights of things. You are just, most of you are just a regular man. One would assume that a scenario that you play out inside your head alone, in the corners of your mind, in the corner of a room where nobody knows, You assume that it would not affect you because you have it as a secret and nobody knows. Well, I can tell you, the greatest of secrets have unraveled the greatest of men. Because it's not the individual outside that found out about the secret that has unraveled great men, but their own minds. Most people think when they look at me, it is the considerable amount of wealth that I have attained in a short period of time that makes me that powerful person. No. It is the knowledge that I have acquired over a lengthy period of time. Whether it is my infidelities, bringing up my children, and all the mistakes I made, working for people, going on to become an entrepreneur, the juice businesses, the manufacturing, that is what really makes me who I am. Because I would not have been able to even acquire considerable wealth if I did not have this knowledge base. Statistics shows that 70% of lotto winners fall into poverty after 5 years acquiring whatever that amount is. It could be 100 million. It could be the Super Bowl, the Super Bowl, or whatever they call it. They go straight back into poverty with debt. Now, fortunately for me, I was brought up under circumstances where I had to work for my keep. I did not inherit it. So, I can't risk it all. Because when you win the lotto or you inherit, you assume that it's easy. But look at great fortunes across the world that have been built and lost. Look at history. Let history speak to you. Great men have amassed great amounts of wealth, and their successors have destroyed it. Look at it. It is your children who bring you down. As I say again, a fool and his money shall soon be parted. Don't be that fool. Don't assume that a game that you play that nobody knows of and nobody tells you that they know of is a winning game. The great Pablo Escobar had an end to his day. Every reign has an end. Right? We don't know what the future holds. What I know, I am like no other individual in this country. It could only get better from here. Because I was born into the worst. I was born as a bastard. And I forged my way up to where I am today. So they got to the understand I live in Albistown. When I used to live by Auntie Pearlie over in Crane, I took the firewood from a backyard and built a bed. I know but hardship second to none. I don't speak about it every day. Because those are things in our life, in our past, that we would rather forget. But nonetheless, it is my hands who built that bed from the firewood. I have experience second to none. Only the Guyanese critic could have these experiences. And that is what makes me unique. That is what makes me who I am. You out there who have attained the degree, only you could know the hardships you went through at UG. You out there, the professional, who had to toil and go through all hardships, who's now driving a car and smiling. Do not forget when and where you came from. And that is what most people get carried away with. There are some in our society that just drop and think they could play a game with the world and nobody would not see. Well, I can tell you, the reason that individuals think they could play a game in their head is because they really don't know the world. They don't know how deceitful people can be. They don't know what people do for money. They do anything for money. People would smile with you. You will have all the friends in the world when you have money. When you want to know who you have by yourself, by your side, lose everything. Then you will know who your true friends are. Me was born for success. I say this as a message to Guyanese and a warning to some. Every dag got a day. Today is me day. Big dag, little dag, no dag can stop me day. I came across this on the web. Somebody on a social media page. This is the accident scene where one of my staff lost his life, a sad situation that brings back haunting memories to me. And there's the assumption that some story about the accident report will come and what people will say and what people will think. Well, I want to tell you something. When I look at this, I feel sorry and sad for the people who think this could bring some disrepute to me. You see this yellow crane here? This yellow crane here? I operated that crane to lift this crane here off the body of Sean when he lay dead. Right there he was lying. What many people don't know, this is 4 individuals fetching the body here. You notice this individual extra tall than everybody else? I didn't only pick up the pieces of the body and wrapped it in tarp. I fetch the body. This is the reality. And when I look back at that, a man could take that and make joke about the loss of life and a man and try to use it against me. Because he never had the experience and will never have the experience that I have. So while I was having this experience, a sad state of affair for anybody to experience, Somebody did a video, a drone video, and kept it, thinking they could use it against me at a time they would need it. Who would do something like that? And one has to ask oneself, what level of mentality would someone have to have? This is on the web, by the way. And the header says, when we finally report about Critic and the accident, and what manner of man do you think at the time would record this? Bear in mind, this would have been big news the day if this video was used. But it wasn't used. It was recorded and kept. I'm going to tell you one thing that I learned in life. You could do things. Many men have been brought down for the things that they've done in life that they consider to be secrets. I learned that at a very early age in my life. And because I was aware of that circumstance, I have never done anything in my life that I could not explain a reason for doing it. You listening to me? I have never done anything in my life that I could not explain a reason for doing it, or I express an unwillingness to accept responsibility for my actions. How many people can say that about themselves? Many people feel that people don't know, people don't see. People care less. Now, when I came across this, I was like, bam, back to memory. And then it dawned upon me, who would video this? On the day of the accident, there was a video showing the accident. Who would video this? A video was leaked from within the accident scene the day. And it was only my people around and people that I was supposed to be associated with. And I was like, who would do this? Fortunately for me, I'm not a naive individual. You would smile with me, you would act like you were my best friend, and I would still be reserved about your actions and why you do what you do, and your intentions. I don't take things lightly. I always look and see to understand better. Now again, did anything surreptitious happen? Let me detail. So here is police ranks who photographed the crime scene in its entirety. Here is staff, the undertakers, who when they saw the situation and the state of the body, they froze. I had to take the gloves and pick up the parts. And this is me and 3 of my workers removing the body from the scene. And I looked at this video, it brought back memories. But what was more worrying is who would have kept this? What kind of mindset you got for keep this and think I could use this against him in the future? What the person who did this did not or is not aware is my mindset. We all have mindsets, my capabilities, and my unique ability to thrive no matter what the circumstance is. Because you want me to tell you what is the main issue that every individual has to contend with? It's not how people feel about you. It's how you feel about yourself. The mind is too much of a great thing to waste. And at some point in time, we all make mistakes. The thing is, if you will accept responsibility for the mistakes you've made in your life, when I was married, I was a whore. I can't say being a whore and not being there for your kids made me a good father. I provided, but in its entirety, I was not a good father. By Guyanese standards, I might have been a great father. I accept that I was not perfect. It is that acceptance that makes you who you are. It is that acceptance that empowers you as the individual. Chris.
Hey, morning. The guy with the junior tonight, just start see there, take it for me, sir. Jerry, money pay later.
80,000.
No, he said 80,000 for the opinion alone, the junior alone, and the bearings, they have pay 20,000.
So he's giving us for $100,000.
Yeah.
Hook it up right away, get it, get the driver to go there and pick it up, or he drop it, and hook it up right away and get the truck back on the road for me. I need sand with it.
Yeah. Hook him on the truck then.
Safe. So as the men out there, or the people out there, and there's barely about 1 or 2 people who expresses envy and is seething from within. To those men who are out there thinking that what they do can afford me the opportunity of noticing them to care. Stabrook News published an article talking about the pump station again. How many people do you think in this country are made reference to constantly in newspapers and across the media? That's the first thing one should ask oneself. How many people consistently get media attention? Bear in mind, you have people who yearn media attention and they put themselves in the limelight to be seen. If I were to lock myself in a room and there was not a photograph of me, imagine people don't talk about Granger just when they're reminded about him. Moses Nagamutu, a former prime minister, is not made reference to unless people want to make jokes about him. Ask yourself, how many people are constantly in the limelight that are not the beneficiaries of greatness in this country? That people just think about, what is he doing? Where is he? I wonder what he's doing. I wonder why I ain't see. Let's talk about him. How many people you know that are in that situation that has not attained the heights of wealth and power in this country and around the world? If Trump ain't doing nothing, say, where's Trump? Who is doing that? Trump did this. Remember this? And one has to ask oneself, If that is factual, how does this circumstance originate? Envy. Because the envious heart has a wandering mind. It is envy. There are men who out there who aspire to be great, who put the time and effort into life, who went to UG, who has a degree. And they have not been able to attain my level of success. Then there are men out there who has amassed considerable amount of wealth beyond their wildest dreams, but can't find peace like me. So you have different factions worrying about different things that don't concern them. It is just envious hearts with wandering minds. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Critic. I'm calling, it's off your topic, but I have a suggestion. Why doesn't the ministry,
Hello?
Hello, yeah.
Yes, I'm listening to you.
I'm calling, why doesn't the ministry look into hiring substitute teachers, not only for strike, for other purposes, like when teachers are absent and other things?
I would want to think it's something that they're considering, but have you considered the benefits to us in that? How do we benefit?
Well, at this point of time, the substitute teachers could be in schools. Kids could go, you have many people with at least 4 subjects. The requirement is 5 subjects to become a teacher. So 4, you could consider those as substitute teachers, and, they could help out a lot. In America, they do have substitute teachers.
But have you, that's the problem there's the problem with you guys making a comparison with America and Guyana. America has 300 million odd people. Guyana has just under 1 million people. The comparison, America is a very old country, fairly old country. Guyana is a fairly new country. Our political system has not reached 60 years. The independent political system that we have, the democracy that we have, has not reached 60 years. So making comparisons based on that wouldn't be favorable to us. The other thing is, you're talking about the school system that has failed. You're talking about the school system that has brought up the now Gen Z and like churning out retards. You have children that don't know that race and gender cannot be changed. You have a reoccurring younger generation that don't know that. So offering me a model from America, of which I'm seeing is a failed system, is not offering anything at all. Needs to be reconsidered. Now, substitute teachers is the discussion. And my question to you is, if it was well thought out, if it is not in the anger of seeing the teachers who are protesting put to the place, explain to me in detail what substitute teachers mean and how does it benefit us. You understand?
I understand.
Until a lot more thought has not been put into it, the explanation can't be, look at the American system. The American system is going to shit. That's a sad situation to make reference to. If maybe the European system, I don't know of the European system, the European educational system, but the American system wouldn't be a model that I would have an interest in going after. Right?
Okay, so we have to start somewhere. Maybe another suggestion.
Yeah.
Maybe other people have other suggestions, but
no, your suggestion is a good one. Playing devil's advocate here. I am now asking how, because if not for putting the teachers to the place, like showing them, I can't do this, right? So we can put substitute teachers. If it's not for that, then show me the benefits, because I'm a substitute. I calculate you bring an educational system model that is out of India, that has a rigorous, but watch it. The Indians educate, they believe everybody's a doctor. Do you know? You ever been in Stabrook Market, the area where sell food? You ever been in the area there?
One.
Well, so that area, the people just peep out of the door and, hey, we want to eat, we got duck curry, we got this and that, right? There are places in India, doctors just be like that. Doctors, you could pass through, see hundreds of dentists, everybody fighting. Dentists like tout in India. So the educational system has worked astronomically in their advantage in educating the people. Getting the jobs for the educated people is a whole different story. You understand?
Yes.
So it doesn't change things. What I want to know is how substitute teachers will benefit the educational system, because you have to look at the light at the end of the tunnel and ask yourself, what do we want out of the educational system? What we want is maybe a pass rate. I would want to think in a developing society. What you want is a pass rate at about 70% or 75%. Because if you got 50%, the society can always be in confusion. If you churn out 50% qualified people and 50% fucking thief, man. You understand? Next thing, the qualified people, who is the police and the soldier in between there? You got a line protecting this one side, who educate themselves, prepare themselves for this, and then the whole set of other them who think, but man, them people who educate themselves get more than them. You understand? And too much times we don't pay respect to the people who have put time and effort. When I driving on the road before, when I was a Harry, and used to subject myself to poor mental thinking, the poverty ideology, I used to watch it and them got. But you don't know the time and the effort that people put in, because now I got. And I'm much more respectful for who have. A lot of times respect and not paying to who have, because it is as a result of efforts unknown to the poor man. That is how you get. What happens is the people who work hard and get and have, they're more disciplined, so they will shut them out. Nobody wants to tell the poor man or agitate the poor man and tell you, listen to me, you're just fucking lazy, don't make you that bad. You understand? Nobody wants to tell him that. The person who has the money and have the saving and been going to work every day, and the boss cussing them out, and they do something for 5 years that they didn't like and then move on to something else. Respect is not paying to that person. But people are like, oh God, me never this, they want to work me out, slavery day is done. You understand? Your fucking mouth white, you're suffering. No, you're lazy and you're pathetic. The poverty mentality is a real thing. Poverty is a mentality. Look at the people who come out of the ghetto and learn. You know what they don't do is go back to the ghetto. You know what they don't do is try to help people in the ghetto. What they do is sprinkle things in the direction and give them something that they go so. Because they know what they will do. If you go and submerge yourself into poverty and try to pick the people up, no, they will bring you down.
When you think poor, you become poor. And everybody says they're poor.
Well, I could tell you, you don't start thinking poor and get poor. You just be in it, just immerse yourself in it. Because once you learn, once you start thinking and you're open-minded and you're willing to put the time and the effort into developing yourself and making yourself somebody, you become somebody.
True.
We talk. Even just finding peace. Like me, greatest asset now is time. The fact that I control my time. The fact that I can do this, I can impart knowledge with you. When somebody meets me, if it's only one time a month, and it's like, Mr. Critic, I listen to you. When business people message me and say, yo, you hit the nail on the head, I know that I did something right. Let me show you something. Yesterday, GPL went on an exercise to yesterday to disconnect electricity at the back of the Chinese embassy. All illegal connectivity, dangerous for children, dangerous to the people, a loss of revenue to GPL, a cost to us all citizens. The price of electricity is as a result of this. Because nothing doesn't just vaporize. If there's a cost to loss, reduction, or loss in electricity, it has to be paid, or GPL would have been bankrupt a long time ago. That cost is put into our bill. Look at this.
Very good.
I didn't realize this girl could do this whole thing.
Oh, good afternoon.
So yesterday, while there,
All critics. Oh, good afternoon.
the police was there and GPL staffers were there. Right? This here is me interacting with GPL staffers and the police. Now, as you know, I constantly go across the country and highlight GPL workings and the processes. GPL made an effort yesterday and have a cost theft reduction campaign going out now. They're going to different communities and taking off the electricity. Yesterday was Sunday. A lot of people out there. Resistance was created, and the police were there with the intent on arresting anybody that stopped GPL from doing the job, which was disconnecting illegal electricity supply. A man and his wife lost their life in success as a result of thieving electricity. This is a serious thing. But one has to look at the prospects. One has to look at things holistically when decisions are being made. GPL is doing their job on behalf of us who have to foot the bill for who get in free current. Nonetheless, these are human beings. They're there. And when I went there, it was to highlight GPL doing the job and make people aware GPL coming. Because of the circumstance of which GPL got themselves into, my program had to change. I had to come in now as a mediator to suggest what's going to happen, how it's going to be done to make sure it doesn't turn into a big bacchanal. And this reminded me of the days when I used to be on the ground and talk for people and everybody. This had reminded me that, you know, you gotta go back on the ground. This time, not giving people handout of dal puri, feeding them, but teaching them how to make a dal puri. Teaching them in the ways that I have now gone on to learn. Impart that knowledge with the man on the ground. Look at. So this was me trying to get an understanding of how GPL plan to carry out their disconnection loss reduction campaign. Again, this involves all of us. When your bill comes, there's a cost that is attached to your bill that is directly attached to people stealing electricity. Because if it costs GPL $100 to supply 100 watts of electricity, they supply 100 watts of electricity. Their intention is to get $200 for 100 watts of electricity, and these are hypothetical figures. Watts is a lot. They supply 100 watts of electricity with the intention of getting $200, but the 100 watts were supplied to 100 customers, of which only 75 paid, suggesting GPL left with a shortfall of $50. What GPL does is divide $200, or would have to do, any business would have to do. It has to divide $200 by 75 people because they can't bill the rest. So that is how you, the regular citizen, is affected. Now, not to say they ain't got big companies that thieving as much electricity as them people thieving there. So all thief man, that look like thief man, don't get tied up. Electricity theft is not left or limited to the squatting area. Electricity theft might not even be the greatest aspect of electricity theft, might not even be the squatting areas. It might be the big companies that steal electricity. I could tell you though. Right? Nonetheless, electricity theft affects us all. Whether it's the safety of the individuals who are stealing the electricity, the safety of the children around them, and individuals cover them and the children, the safety of the network, because when it bridge off and burn up and all them thing, it feeds back to the network shut down, it affects us all. Or whether it is at the end of the month, all of us have to pay a bill for who thieving electricity. Right? I have chosen to reach out to the relevant ministries and find out how this thing could be regularized. Because people say here, they're willing to get their meter. Right? So I then had a talk with all the residents, explained to them in detail I explained to them in detail as to how it goes. First thing, they cannot continue to steal electricity. I can't be who I am today and coming and talking to people and helping people who not helping themselves. That's the first thing. I would not play a role or any part in that. They cannot continue to steal electricity. All I could do now is go to the government and say, this place needs to be regularized. Whatever has to happen, because you got people playing games inside there. You got people that get house lot that's still living inside there. At some point in time, a line has to be drawn. And that is what too many times politicians are not willing to do. They sit with people and tell them the truth. At this time, GP had already taken down a lot of the illegal connections, because it's why you're running all about the place. They had already taken down a lot of the illegal connections. I spoke to the people, and then Everybody was satisfied, and I left. Now, that is one instance of what is going on in this country. Sad situation, sad state of affairs. Right? But needs to be addressed nonetheless. That is what I did yesterday. I didn't even do a live. I said, if somebody record it and send the recordings to me. Because it was more on a mission to get things started. Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning to you, Mr. Critic. Sorry then.
Talk to me, brother. We're live.
Yeah, but I'm calling regarding this issue. Last October, where this child was beaten and born by his step-parents in his house. You know, this guy is out of prison. Is that the right thing? And the child is still severely, he's critical in the US?
So, there are processes. There are people who are on the road that have been charged for manslaughter. It's just short of murder. And until your day in court, there are people on the road who are on the road while going to court for raping a woman. Imagine being so unsafe and unstable. But that is how the judicial system works. You're innocent until proven guilty.
Okay.
Right? So,
all right.
It is not anything surprising, but it's something worth the while following up, because there have been known cases where people get let out of jail. Like Nisha Gopal, brutally murdered her daughter, was convicted, then had her sentence commuted to a lower amount, and then even had it commuted to a lower amount by the prison system that let her out before time.
Definitely. But that's what we're concerned, because that child is fighting for his life. People that beat his child and born him.
No. Well, let me tell you. So a child fighting for the life the only charge that doesn't afford you the opportunity to your pre-trial liberties, which means getting bail and coming out, is murder. You understand? That's the only charge. Or treason. You don't get bail upon treason. Murder or treason. When murder is broken down to manslaughter, the lesser count, it's a bailable offense. And there have been maybe a few 3 or 4 cases, because of how the murder trial goes, the individual got bail. Now, this can be listed as murder, neither manslaughter, right? Because the child has not died. In the event the child died, and the difference between murder and manslaughter is a thin line, because nonetheless, the individual would have died. But in cases, manslaughter is more looked at. Some man stab up a man, the two of them had a fight, and then the man go in the hospital and they're lang, right? And then he dead. So you end up get charged immediately for murder and then drop to the lesser charge of manslaughter.
Yeah.
Murder is more stab up, go in, robbery, stab up a man, kill, he dead right there. The man gonna find you, understand? But you can't, highly unlikely you get manslaughter with robbery. So it's robbery, murder, because one of the things is the intent. Murder has to have an intent. You understand? So right away, if you came in my house with a knife, and as a result of me fighting with you and everything else, you murdered me. Even you stabbed the person and the person got into the hospital and then died in the hospital, is murder, because you had an intention. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's how the synopsis of them things is go. At least to the best of my layman understanding, lawyers would be able to explain it better, but just for fair understanding. So a child fighting outside for his or her life doesn't afford the court the opportunity to put someone away until that matter or that person has been found guilty of the act they've committed and sentenced as such. Then they're imprisoned. Because what's going to happen, I like a case like they born up a child, wherever, he go remand, and he continually apply for bail while the court process, which is a lengthy one in most cases, continues. Or the court process would halt because if the child is overseas fighting for life, you have a case whereas this is the victim and most of the evidence. You understand? So the victim, neither the evidence ain't come back yet. The court process halt. And we got a next date and a next date and a next date. And nonetheless, the individual has to be afforded the right to pre-trial liberty. That is in the Constitution. That is in the law. Right?
Okay.
Raja, brother.
Thank you.
Most welcome. Everybody. That's how Tifmanago is the last state. So we got to change the laws to make dangerous people gun crimes non-bailable offense. If it's a gun crime, violent crimes, non-bailable offense. Because it suggests that persons are violent in nature. You're acting out of the norm that affords you the opportunity to live freely in society. Or, like how in the United States got 3 strike. 3 strike and you're out. If you've been found 3 times to be committing the same kind of crime, that means it's continuous. There's a pattern here. Get you off the streets. Right? Now look at this. These people recently in Lagrange, West Demerara, people climb up the thing. Watch the condition of this. They tumble up the people's house. They beat this man in his face. Right? Real sad situation. Tumble up the whole people's house. Oh, God. This was the guy's condition after getting the beating, right? This is in the house. It's sad. It's sad that we're in a society that people would come and mete out this type of brutality to a person that in the house. You don't know how this uncle work hard to get where you want. But that's the reality of the world we live in. You got people poor that are delusional. You got people extremely rich that are delusional. Delusion is not limited to any one person or status. It's worrying. The thing is, as I say, every dog got a day. Right? So we cover GPL, we cover this. This really dawned upon me. This really, got me to thinking. What kind of a mindset? And yeah, I'll go to the page, go to on social media. What kind of mindset you have to be so convoluted to come up with this, to use the pain and suffering of one family to your advantage. Well, as I tell you, greed is not the problem with the world. Envy is the problem with the world. Not greed. Greed is not our main problem. Envy is our main problem. The funny thing about envy can't hurt the persons that is faced. Envy and seeding and deceit and conniving behavior destroys the person that it is within. That is the funny thing about envy. Research shows that if you ask somebody, if you take a job for 100,000 and allow your friend to have a job with $200,000, or you prefer to have a job for $50,000 that your friend get $50,000, most people choose to go and work for less money just because they want to make sure somebody else don't get more than them. And one would look at people and think wealth or the access to wealth would afford them the opportunity of not being envious, but envy. The funny thing about envy, it's like a volcano, is destructive from within. Now, on the other hand, notice to those who are out there, I am who I am. I have come from a long way and continue on this long, tireless journey. My appearance might be a little tardy. My composure might not always be kept. But I am a freak of nature. And nothing or no one can hold me back from achieving my goals. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever convoluted ideas you have come up with and conjured up in your head about standing in my way, I can tell you, you have a lot to learn about life.
Hello, good morning, Critic.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. What you're doing is a great job, right? And I know people who try to bring you down. You know that, right? So all these things they're doing is to get at you, right? I know you have to bring it out or whatever. Keep doing the good work, buddy.
Roger,
right?
Roger,
the opposition there is mad with you for a lot of things, right? But you're doing a great job.
Well, I can tell you, the opposition is the least of my enemies. Truth be told, the enemies are closer than one would want to think.
Yeah, you know, what the opposition now realized that even during the Burnham time, right, there was a guy named Inshanali. He was lecturing at QG. And politically, they didn't give him his contract. And he tore that, the Chung medal, he got it before, he's the first person to get it. He tore it in front of Adachong and threw it away. He said he doesn't want it. And he left the country and he came outside. Right? So all these things are done since Burnham time. And the same thing Burnham did with the education system, break down the train and everything. This is what the opposition wants to do.
All right, I hear you, boss. You take me to laugh. Of course, I'm a plan, but I hear you. We talk. I am saying the opposition is the least of my enemies. And by the way, I've mentioned this a few times. I'm writing a book. I'm writing a book that will have some damn and revelations. I would want to think people didn't know I know these things about them. An amazing book about truth and that is steeped in fact that Guyanese did not know. Guyanese will then see how easy it is to be deceived by glimmer and glitter. We're a small country, so it's not hard. You dangle a shiny thing in front of your eye and next thing you think, wow, how amazing gold is. We got a lot to learn, people. You guys have a lot to learn. I'm hoping this morning I've adequately motivated you to go on and kill it for the week. Be strong, be wise, be kind. Know yourself. Know a lot of times what you plan to be met out to people, it is your destruction that it brings on. Because the mind, a beautiful mind, is a terrible thing to waste. And one must know, a fool and his money shall soon be parted. Peace out. Keep it real.